between the expectation of you when you came in. There was no
What was the expectation of Callum? I couldn't even remember Callum from his first series. He had a bit part in that series.
The only thing I remember is that row he had with Prez,
Yeah,
and then he got
Perez
a letter
said he'd stick his cock up his arse.
and then he got that letter from Rudyard Kipling. That was it.
I know.
Two things. And he said he was going to show a funnier side to himself.
He's been a hilarious character in the house, isn't he? Oh, the laugh.
He doesn't have a funny side.
Can you think of a single funny thing that Callum did?
Oh, I can.
Can you?
Well, not really.
Not
He wore that Batman jumper, and Chloe went, "I like your Batman jumper."
He had swallows on it. Yeah.
Where was Chloe tonight?
Oh yeah, Chloe wasn't there.
Rest in peace.
Probably rubbing a clit on something.
Probably out on the raj. And then, but that dog was there that she rubbed a clit on. So.
Which is what reminded me she wasn't there. Because I thought, oh, if Chloe's there, she's horny, she can rub a clit on you. That dog's there. And then I looked around, Chloe wasn't there. And who else wasn't there?
Ray J.
Yeah, probably getting dental work done.
And having a McDonald's. But who was there? Brandon Block.
Oh yeah, with a new haircut.
Same old teeth though. So then, who was it? Oh, they called Callum out because Vanessa said, "Have you ever betrayed a friend?" And then they showed the clip of him saying that it was Bianca and Thingy was a storyline.
Now, what's your take on that? Did you think that Callum was bad mouthing Jamie and Bianca?
Yeah.
I actually
didn't
think that he was. I think he was just being aware of the way the show's made and that a romance is a storyline. And I thought like Bianca and Jamie like harnessed that as part of their storyline and were like, oh, this is like really bad, really brutal.
I disagree because I wrote down exactly what he said.
Go on, let's hear it.
He said,
verbatim.
He said, I know that it's a storyline. They know that as well. They're playing up to it massively. That's the offensive part, I think.
Offensive, actually.
And it's part of the process. So, yeah, I agree. The storyline thing, yeah, but they're playing up to it, I think. Yeah. Then he went, oh, you know, I thought it was cringe when you were bumping and grinding. Well, you fucking Aunt Mabel in the corner. They can bump and grind if they want. He gives a fuck.
It's funny because, well, we're going to come to this, I'm sure, but the next day everyone started, like, acting and making
bumping
scenes.
And grinding.
yeah. All the offending people, like all these like people that have been slagging off everyone else for doing shit, started doing shit. Anyway,
yeah, it's true, they did. But it was good to see Callum under the cosh and backtracking and going, oh, I've been very supportive, blah, blah, blah. And then Bianca was just like, Callum! That was good. And then Nicola went, because she was the one having the conversation with Callum, she went, oh, they've made that look worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't see it before, though, did we?
Yeah, we did.
That
yeah,
was another example of me not having seen something.
Oh, God, call yourself a secret. And then... who did he say that? Oh, God, now, have some respect for the winner. John McCrick said to Coleen... I've written down a lot of quotes for this episode.
Pretty harsh on there, wasn't he, to be fair?
When you were in last time, you were the most boring, dull housemate there has ever been, correct?
Yeah. And
you've lived up to your reputation.
Correct.
True. I've made allowances that you're a time of life that's difficult for women. Ouch. You've become an agony aunt when your own marriage is in crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Rude. Even you admit that. You smoke too much. You eat too much. Who are you to give advice?
John McCrick always delivers, doesn't he?
That is extremely rude, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's TV gold. But to be fair, like, Coleen needed telling that she was being boring in the house.
She's fat.
Angie Best's already done that.
True. Coleen didn't even stick up for herself in this situation. It's another example of Nicola.
Did she cry?
Nicola was the one that she did afterwards. But Nicola piped up and said, the things you say are vile and I think you should apologise. And then afterwards, Jamie was like, oh, yeah, I wanted to say something, but there wasn't really time. I was like, no, you didn't say dick. Nicola said it. It's another example of Nicola actually stepping up and the boys doing nothing.
Why Nicola would deserve to place higher than Coleen.
Nicola.
Nicola.
That's it. And then, yeah, this is when Coleen said John McCrick shouldn't be allowed in here because he's an absolute arsehole. Fuck off.
Who said that?
Coleen.
Coleen?
Yeah.
Like... I never want to see you in the Big Brother house ever again.
No.
But John McCrick is welcome on my TV.
Yes, but... Oh, God. Sorry, I was just thinking of him picking his nose in the Big Brother house.
In those white pants.
Oh, God. Yes. And then
Remember when he said he puts the booby in cattle class and he flies first class?
poor booby. They said something about her, didn't they? Like the way he treats his wife.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was that they did. And then Nicola went to the diary room,
Nicola
and
is
she
in the
said,
diary room.
"I'm going home 100%. My mind is completely made up. I'm always made out to be the bad person and the bully. I haven't been unreasonable." Okay. And she said about Jedward, they're always there. Of course they're always there. You're in a Big Brother house. Apart
from when they're out rehearsing for their tour in Germany.
Yeah,
that hasn't actually happened, I don't think.
And then James C said to Jedward, oh, do you think you could make up with Nicola? And they're like, Jedward said, whichever one said, my life experience is meeting thousands of girls. I know when stuff's going down. What does that mean? And then James C said, Nicola's missing her family and she's a very highly strung person.
John had a go at him.
Yeah,
though.
he looked really upset. He looked upset. And then, I don't know what they said because I didn't write that down, but then James
basically,
said...
like, okay, is this you, like, coming to tell us? Like,
to tell us.
Yeah,
and it's true. He was being a dick, and they beat him, so whatever. And then James was like, oh, have a wee think about it. If they had gone up to Nicola, it wouldn't have been well received, so... Anyway, whatever. So then... Bianca and Jamie were pissed off about Callum, what he said.
Are we on another day now?
No, it's still the same all day.
Really?
Yeah. Why? What are you saying?
Well, I just remember that, like, James going up to them seemed to be quite late in the day.
Mm. Well,
Ignore me, carry on.
Do you want to do the notes? And then... Oh yeah, so they were slagging off Callum, and then Callum suddenly like shot into the room like he'd been like eavesdropping outside the door. Did you notice that?
This is when he like did that weird glare through the glass.
No, that was another time. That was weird. Someone said he looked like someone off like
The Shining.
No, someone says like something to do with meth, crystal meth or something, like a crystal meth dealer. That's funny. You know, he just come in when Bianca and Jamie were slagging him off. And he said, don't let one clip say I'm not supporting you guys. It's like, well, you said it.
Mm.
He's like, oh, I just said you weren't silly. And then Jamie's like, oh, it's disrespectful. Ugh. If I never hear the word respectful ever again, it'll be too soon. And then, then it was the water fight.
When they started to try and be funny.
Yeah.
Who was playing the water fight? Oh, basically the entire mafia.
Yeah, Callum and Coleen.
Was Nicola invited? I don't think Nicola was involved, was she?
No, she wasn't invited. She was too busy holding her hand over one eye.
Holding that googly eye in.
And then Jedward, meanwhile, were popping their
Jedward.
spots. were popping their spots in the mirror.
Ugh.
And they said, I just think it's weird that they've been told they're boring and now they're having fun. I just mastered my Jedward impression just on this final night. It's really annoying. That always happens. And then Kim was in the diary room. She said, Nicola has flown off the handle at those boys, and when times have been tough for me in here, she's always been smack bang in the middle. Damn right she has, because you're always having a massive go at her.
Well, actually, I think that security guard was in the middle.
Yeah, true.
Excuse me.
I was listening to your reality recaps. They were talking about that bit when the security guard came in. This is an American podcast, and they said, "Why did they send in some like old lady who looks like someone's mum as a security guard?" Well, that was a bit harsh. It was quite funny. So then it was the episode where we had Jamie's shock eviction. Did you get spoilerized that day?
I had been faux spoilerized. Somebody was tweeting that it was Nicola that had gone.
Oh.
I was trying not to Nicola. I was trying not to like be swayed by these tweets. Yeah. And then I was saying like,
why were you even on Twitter? You like getting spoilerized?
Yeah, I should do a blackout like Big Brother can on the live feed when something's going down. Well, I was tweeting through the episode, and then I tweeted about it, and then a couple of people tweeted at me saying Jamie, and I didn't know if they were just saying that's because they wanted it, or if it's because they knew it had happened.
That's still too much information for my liking. I managed to avoid it. I'm so glad I did. But it fucks me off that they do this like Sunday night eviction or whatever, and then they don't. Why can't they just keep it a fucking secret? Either do it live or keep it a secret, a proper secret. Don't let it leak out during the day. It fucks me off.
Yeah, but how many people work on that show? Like, they could go home and tell their mum, and then mum tells their like dog walker, and the dog walker tweets it or something.
What is this? This is supposed to be a professional programme. Not really.
No, not after the sound issues we've had on tonight's show.
True.
And Bianca not hearing her name the other day.
Yeah, that's because she wasn't expecting to hear a bloody name. Which is quite lucky, because I was a bit worried about Bianca. Did we say that earlier? Because when she came out on top of the vote, but then she ended up coming out sixth today, so whatever, bonker. Then
Get that down the strip club.
Yeah, Callum and Jedward.
They're already in. Callum and Jamie are already in there.
Jedward. Can't imagine Jedward in the strip club. Oh god, I'm fucking up on my words. Oh, never mind. So there was some magic from Kim here. Kim's diary.
Magic from
Kim's diary room's really ramped up.
Is it that? They were all diary room gold in the last few days.
She says, I can't remember what they were talking about, but she said, love and lust, two different things. Every wrinkle tells a dirty tale. They couldn't publish my life story, it'd be far too mucky. It should be called The Temptress. It should start, dig me deep, I'm a long-bodied woman. Ooh, lovey. What the fuck is she even talking about here?
Long-bodied woman.
What does that mean?
I think she's referring to her chuff.
Long-bodied? Is that good?
Dig me deep, I'm a long-bodied woman. What else can it be?
I love it when
movies.
I love it when she flirts with Big Brother. She does the best faces.
Oh, she'll flirt with anyone. My husband, he chases me around the house.
I love the things she wears. The things she wears lately have been so cool.
Oh, says, come here, you sexy beast.
Everything about Kim.
I love the Kimward burnt eye roll.
Yeah, yeah. Her faces are just brilliant. She was doing some good faces in her eviction interview, actually. So then, the police came in to show them tweets and shit in an interrogation room. There was a policeman sitting there not saying anything.
Yeah.
And Kim was trying to flirt with him and stuff. And I showed Kim a tweet with someone calling her a horrible old witch. Fuck off. And Kim said, I don't regret a thing in here I've done or said. Yes. Just got to check. That's all right. And hold on, sorry. It's all gone wrong. Oh, James C got a tweet saying he was a boring old man, and he said, "Oh, that's a bit harsh for my agent."
That was funny, actually. I actually did lol at that.
That was funny.
One hilarious moment.
Oh, and then Callum's one was
Remind me.
Callum's one said,
Rudyard Kipling?
"You're dull as fuck. You're arrogant as fuck." It was
from
by
our
that
friend
guy.
Lewis J off of Twitter.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was good. Actually,
that was such a harsh tweet as well, and it was really funny.
And you always think sometimes I wonder, are these tweets even real?
Yeah,
and I think they're never going to pick up my tweet, but someone that we know off Twitter, his tweet affected reality.
It wasn't just him. There was a couple of other people I knew whose tweets.
I think I've seen a few that I've known the name of.
Yeah, there was
recently.
someone slacking off Jedward who follows me on Twitter. Leave Jedward alone.
Yeah, stop it.
But imagine if it was our tweets though.
Our tweets never get banned.
But my tweets are good at least.
What are you saying?
That's a joke. Imagine, mine are meaner than yours though. You don't do mean tweets, really, do you?
Sometimes when I get really angry at them.
On the whole, though, I think of your tweets as being firm but fair, whereas mine are just mean and nasty and spiteful.
Gnarly.
I would love it. I would be like, I've made it if I was on. But that Lewis,
she's lovely, but she's a complete bitch.
I am. But then Lewis was going loads of people were slating him about it. So loads of Callum fans were tweeting him having a go.
Oh,
about
really?
It, yeah.
So he felt a backlash from being on the show.
But I bet more people were like, "You're a legend."
The thing is, I sometimes think, well, I kind of sometimes I slag off the show too much. I talk badly about the way it's handled as a show, so they're never going to use my tweet. But he bitches about Big Brother left, right, and centre. So it proves that it doesn't mean anything.
No, I don't.
It's just the researchers that day. It's the runner, isn't it? The office runner goes through Twitter.
I think they'll take all the views they can get, to be honest, no matter what we say.
Do you think probably to find that tweet they just put Callum fake into Twitter and they found out the best one and it was his?
They probably did. And then Callum's response to that was, "Go suck a dick." That's mature, isn't it?
I don't mind sucking a dick.
Exactly. That's what I said on Twitter, and I got quite a few retweets. Go suck a dick. Fuck off.
Well, stick my dick up your ass. He doesn't like that, does
he? Or does he? So more tweets. I don't really care about the tweets. It's quite boring.
It's overdone, but I do like it that someone we know's tweet got read.
They have been bringing it in quite a lot this series.
I prefer a tennis ball over the wall.
Classic.
Mario's the mole.
Jedward said after their tweet, about their trolls. If we went to their house, I bet you'd find an I Love Jedward t-shirt.
I love how like self-assured, like even the haters must love us.
I want an I Love Jedward t-shirt. That sounds good.
I've got one.
Of course you have. So the last part of the Judgment Day task.
Oh, it was Judgment Weekend, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
No. Vanessa was sent back in.